Water is a mystery. It falls as rain from the skies and as dew on the grass. It flows as underground waters and rivers throughout our landscape. A key role of government is to find the best way to bring water to people. The challenge is formidable. Over 1 billion people around the world do not drink safe water. Over 2.5 billion people do not have adequate sanitation. The Water Dialogues is one pathway through the arguments, transforming people's differing opinions into a basis of a dialogue where participants agree to listen, question, and look at evidence together to see if it was enough to reach a new level of understanding. The Water Dialogues has been a journey, both at the international level from the Freshwater Conference in Bonn 2001 through the stakeholder meeting in Berlin 2004 to the International Assembly meeting in Johannesburg 2009.
South Africa is one of 5 other countries involved in the Water Dialogues. The others are Uganda, Brazil, Indonesia, and the Philippines. And they've had very different approaches. So what we did was we looked at how to run processes in national countries, and the idea was to have some level of autonomy within countries that could feed into an international process, that could also start influencing the international debate.
A representative and multi-stakeholder working group was formed to lead the Water Dialogue South Africa. Representatives include Thobile Mtiana and Helgert Muller from the Department of Water Affairs and Forestry, Hamida Didat from South African Water Caucus, Jean-Pierre Mas from JOAM, the Johannesburg Water Management Company, William Maroka from SALGA, the South African Local Government Association, Jeff Rudin from South African Municipal Workers Union, Jay Bagwam from the Water Research Commission, Jessica Wilson from the Environmental Monitoring Group, Neil MacLeod from eThekwini Municipality, Sandile Mbanjwa from Western Area Local Municipality, Tony Sanders from Water and Sanitation Services South Africa, Laila Smith from Vula Trust,
Kathy Ills, an independent consultant, Laila Houghton from Treasury, who has since left the Water Dialogues.
The Water Dialogue South Africa office was established in Durban, and Mary Galvin was appointed coordinator, with invaluable administrative assistance from Ruby Essek.
The working group started somewhere in 2005 with key stakeholders coming together to kind of, define some processes in terms of helping municipalities to enhance service delivery. And that actually led to us defining a vision, kind of a problem statement in terms of which goals do you actually want to achieve. Well, the problem statement, we had really difficulties coming together to really define it, but ultimately this is what we've agreed upon. That municipalities in South Africa face many challenges in meeting the constitutional requirements to ensure effective, equitable, and sustainable delivery of water and sanitation provided affordably to all. This has taken into account the highly skewed distribution of wealth, service provision, and water resources. In the effort to address these challenges, a number of different approaches to service delivery, including commercial approaches and private sector participation, have been used. The Water Dialogue South Africa provides the opportunity to create a constructive dialogue to identify, critically analyze and evaluate these approaches, leading to greater understanding of service delivery models. It is envisaged that this understanding will lead to more effective service delivery models to contribute to universal supply of safe water and sanitation.
Given that water service authorities have widely varying capacities, how do different institutional approaches, from public to private and everything in between, how does that affect actual outcomes of whether people get service delivery?
I was one of the ones insisting on the code of conduct. Why? Because I say I'm the private sector, and I personally am happy to come to this dialogue if it's not something that we leave from time to time throwing arguments across the table, because we have been doing that for years, and it's not very positive. It doesn't build anything, It's only anger, frustration, and so on. Very simple. Well, some simple rules are agreed by everybody, and I thought, because that was the first document, the first real discussion. It was important because it was also building the type of relationship and the type of culture within the group.
Confrontative dialogue is opposed to consensual dialogue. And confrontative dialogue is the idea that all the different stakeholders can disagree and that it's not necessarily a bad thing. We're not trying to force consensus or get anyone inside the box. We're trying to give people an opportunity to voice their positions and their disagreements, and in the process hoping that there'll be some movements in understanding other people's positions and in shifting perspectives.
Sometimes misunderstandings come from a lack of communication and also lack of understanding of what different people's perspectives are. And the only way you can get to a point of resolving that, but also to develop a process of a way forward, is if you actually dialogue. But having said that, dialogue in and of itself is not enough. If you ask us why we're all sitting here and what do we want, the larger objective in this whole schema is we want service delivery in South Africa to improve. We'd like people to get access. We want services to be efficient and effective, to be sustainable. Sustainable for some people might mean economics, for others it might mean economics plus environmental plus socially sustainable. But the overarching aims are the same. So I think when you've defined that and you have a very solid foundation of principles that govern that dialogue, then it's a process of moving forward.
Yeah, no, the confrontative dialogue, I think it's very important. You have to build trust, but at the same time you have to discuss substantive issues.
So we established rapport fairly early on, and then recognized that when the research started to deliver results, that would be the case when there would be less agreement. But I think we established sufficient rapport, sufficient trust, sufficient mutual respect to allow for the difference.